Welcome back, everybody. It's Rama from Junk Journal Divas. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm pretty excited because I am finally starting on holiday creations. So my first thing, I've been working on this little kit for a while. If you are familiar with my Halloween haunted house kit, this is kind of the same idea with holiday decorations on houses. Pretty big, it's 14 pages. So there's 8 houses. I'll show you here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so there's the houses, and then I have some extras here. So this page, for example, you can see it's double. So I was thinking if you want, you could also fold this and it could kind of add on to one of the houses if you want it to stick out. So that's why I made it double-sided. And then just some little goodies if you want to. I was thinking decorate the tags, and you can also add them to your houses or whatever your imagination comes up with. So there's 10, 11. Now for 12, I did the same thing. I made these mirror images. So if you would want to use these, maybe page tabs or whatever you have in mind. One of the fun things about doing these is that I get to see what everybody comes up with, and we're just sharing ideas and inspire each other to try different things with the kit. Okay, 13 and then 14 is just these tags that I was saying if you want to decorate, and they can kind of go down into the houses. Now I also printed some other things to decorate here. Holly Jolly, these are the paper dolls with the Christmas trees that I did. So there's 3 pages to this kit. Now I did shrink them down a little, slightly, just a little bit for my printing. And then I have Merry Little Ladies, and there are 2 pages to this one. And then I printed one of my Christmas sentiments, and I also printed one of these. This is from the Christmas box kit that I have. This is one of the boxes that I did last year. Unfortunately, it got a little smushed. I didn't wrap it very well, but you can see, so it comes with 4 of these pocket tags, and then a whole bunch of stuff that you can decorate them and put some ephemera pieces in here. That is the Christmas box kit. I'm gonna put some of my fancy bead dangles on here. Okay, so let me put this aside. So that is my holiday kits that I have. First thing we're going to do is cut out the houses. So when you cut these out, I fold them first. So I kind of take one and let's see, start your fold here, like where the middle would be. And then once you kind of have that, I kind of go from the middle. And if this looks okay, we need to go a little bit this way. So we'll just kind of smush it over a little. Now, if I can kind of hold it here where it needs to be. Let's see if this works. There we go. That's better. Okay, so after you do that, then you can cut it out. So that's what I'm going to do first, and then we can meet back up and talk about how we want to put this together. We could make our holes in the houses and just bind it that way. I might do that for my first one because I'm sure that I will make several. Or you could also turn this into an accordion book. So we could do, you know, the holes here and just tie a ribbon or something through. I've done that, and that's actually what I prefer to do. And the pages lay nicely, you know, when you're turning them. Or you could do the tab style binding. You could also put binder rings in here. And what I like to do is somewhere on here leave a space that I can slide a tag down in between here. So we'll see. Let's cut these out first and then we're gonna play. Okay, so I have all of my houses cut out here. So the next step that I want to do is ink everything. And then I need to decide where I want to have my pocket and glue them closed. And let me just show you like a little tip that I discovered from making these. Just something little, but it helps. So this is the tree, and I just cut around it because I had some sentiments around here. And it's nice and lined up at the bottom. So when you are cutting this out, if I'm going to slide this onto a page, it'll be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this side, and that will kind of hold it and stabilize it for when I am cutting it. So I'm going to do this first. It doesn't have to be a lot of glue, just a little bit. And you can also do these with, or do this same thing with the houses. So I'm just going to line that bottom up. That's it. And then when you cut around it, it just keeps the pages together. So I am going to go ahead and ink all of these up around the edges and then come back again. And what I wanted to do together was some ideas for how to decorate these. So that's the good part. Okay guys, I am back here. So I've got my pages. I cut out one of the trees and I've got my pages. So I will show you what I did. I did punch holes. I made a template. I thought I would throw this in here in case it will help anybody. So my template that I did, I just used a piece of cardstock that I had, you know, scrap paper. And it is 5 inches tall. And so my holes are starting from those edges. I went in 1/2 inch. And then the middle hole, of course, will be 2.5 inches. And then this is what I used as my template to line up with that bottom left corner of the house and mark my holes. So I did my holes. And then in the back, what I decided to do, something different, I used this punch that I have, or you could just, you know, when it's opened up, you could make a, cut a line. My tag's done, and I made the pockets on each one here. So you can see. So next I want to go through, I want to add some fun things to the pages. And I don't mind if the pages are really big and bulky, because ideally I want the book to kind of sit like opened up like this. So I printed the tree, and I was kind of thinking like, where would I want this tree, you know, to poke out of? If this would go on here to kind of make it bigger and stick out more. Let's see approximately where would that go. Yeah, we could maybe do that. And then I have a bunch of other stuff that I grabbed here. These are wreaths that I made. These are just, if you can see, this is tissue paper. It's actually pattern paper. And all I did was like saturate it in glue and made a circle with it and let it dry. And then I did some Tim Holtz sprays on it. And just to give you an idea, although this is my smooshed box, this is one of the wreaths here. But if you can see, I added a little bit of greenery on it and I put some of the little dots. So just to give you an idea, I've got some of these teeny little mini bows. I have some garland. I've got tons of stuff, so I'm just looking at it like, okay, how do I want to use this? What do I want to use? I also have the mini lights from Tim Holtz, and I've never used these before. And I was thinking some mini lights on that tree would be great. Now you guys, you'll see why I overwhelm myself. Then, of course, we need some glittery things because, you know, it's winter and we need snow. I like to add that stuff with my glossy accents, so I got that out. And then I also grabbed my grit paste. So the grit paste snowfall, I can't remember exactly what this is like, but it says sparkling. It's a translucent one and it has some glitter and stuff in it. So that's what this is. And then I also have the opaque. So I was thinking of maybe putting some of that along the bottoms. So I'm just going to play a little bit until I get, you know, an idea of what exactly I want to do. And then we will meet back up here. I wanted to show a little bit of using these mediums just in case it happens to be something new that you haven't used, or maybe a different, you know, technique or something that you didn't know about. And, you know, I'm always sharing things, and I love when you guys share with me also and teach me something. We just will learn together here. So all I did was just add a little bit of the grit paste at the bottom. And while that is still wet, I am putting the rock candy, the glitter, right on top of it. Now in some places, I just want a tiny little bit of the glitter, so I'm using my glue. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'll just pour some of that rock candy, the glitter, on top. And I think it's easier if you kind of get a, you know, even if it's a paper plate or something, so you can just sort of dump the glitter on top of it. It's just easier. So this works out perfect. I've got my shimmery glitter. I'm loving this. The next thing I'm trying to figure out is how am I going to make these lights work? So I have the battery pack and I want to just keep that on the back. So temporarily, just to hold it in place there, I'm putting some washi tape on that battery pack. Then I can flip it around and kind of start figuring out how, or you know, how I want to arrange the lights. And I'm using glue dots just to kind of hold them in place. And these are pretty easy because it is a wire. The lights are on a wire, so you can bend it and shape it pretty easily. So then once I have everything kind of in place the way I want it to be, I am using my glossy accents, which is also an adhesive. So I'm just putting some of that on. And I will do the same thing. I'm going to put some rock candy glitter on top of the glossy accents. And then I wanted to make sure when this was drying that those wires didn't pop up. So I ended up grabbing a piece of parchment paper and laying this face down. And I just laid actually put my tape dispenser because it's a little heavy, and I just put that on top of it until it was dry. Good morning, my friends. I am back here. This is day 2. So all of my glitter and the grit paste I put at the bottom, everything's nice and dry now. So you can see the glitter on here. This is what I picked to be the first page. So I put my happy holidays here. One thing that I did want to show you that I just kind of figured out, I was trying to make other wreaths because I wanted one on the front, but this was a little big. So I did this one. Just wanted to kind of show you a little bit here. So I have this piece of wire. Now you could use an O-ring or a binder ring, whatever you have that's a circle. And you could also use string, you could use fabric, you know, whatever you have in your stash. So I'm just kind of wrapping this around. And then I'm going to twist my wire. And I'm not really concerned about how this looks at the top because I'm going to put my bow here. So let's twist this. Okay. Now, what I figured out as a way, because see, it's very bulky. So what I figured out as a way for it to be more flat, I'm going to take a piece of wax paper or parchment. Let's get it the shape that we want, a good shape here. I'm going to use my glue gun, kind of running out here, so hopefully this works okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle with my glue. So let's do that. And I'm going to take this guy and we're just going to press it down into that glue. Of course, be careful you don't burn yourself. Okay, so see, it is nice and flat on the back. That'll be much better to glue it. A little bit of glue on my bow. Stick our bow on there. And then if we want to put little, you know, dots of something around there, we could. So now, doesn't it look cute? Let's go ahead and put this on. All right. Is that good? Yep. Oh, I love this, you guys. I might put a couple of little gems on there. But I'm going to put this aside for a moment, let that dry a little bit more. You guys know I'm all about embellishments. I love adding different elements, different mediums to projects, and anything that I can get texture. So what I did, I put some embossing glaze, which is always hard to see in a video because of the glare. I like to do it when it's on the page first because it's a lot easier. Otherwise, you have to use little tweezers to hold it and everything. And then I put some on my snow globes. Okay. Now, also, I do have wreaths in the kit and other things, you know, that you could add if you don't want to make a wreath. That was just me. Picked out some of my dolls. On these, I put some embossing glaze. This is the Tattered Rose glaze, so they have that kind of vintage look to them. And I backed them with black cardstock. Okay, my friends, I am back and I've got my finished book here. And I cannot even tell you how much I love, love, love this book. Now, this is the first time. Are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. Look, I've got the mini lights on my tree. Before I get started, I wanted to show you also. So I put the rings on here. I usually don't do this. It's not my favorite to do. And I actually prefer using like the ribbon like this. The pages lay totally flat. Now the problem with this book is that this is too many pages really to do that same method. That's why I used the rings. And you guys, again, all of the stuff that I am using, all of these mediums I get from YANETTE, and I always have her information in my video description. She sells all of the Tim Holtz and Ranger products and more stuff. I got my lights from her. So much of this I got from her. So I love supporting my my crafty friends. So check her out when you need your Tim Holtz stuff, because I know we pretty much all use Tim Holtz stuff. Okay, so I showed you my wreath, and I put the frosted crystal on these guys, and of course my little girls. I put this one, the tattered rose is what I used, and I like this one because it's very light colored. So this actually gives a vintage look to things. If you use the vintage photo, it's really dark. So if you haven't used a lot of these or tried a lot of the colors for the Distress Embossing Glaze. And then on the bottom here, I used some grit paste. And then I dumped my rock candy on there. I really love this. So it comes, I don't know if you can see through here. This is larger chunks, or you can get the regular glitter that's smaller. Okay, so let's see, first page there. Then we'll open this up, and then I put my tag in here. So on this one, I put, will work for cookies. So these are the tags. I made them a little skinnier because I slid them down in this way instead of going in the side. So, I mean, there's different ways, so many different ways that you can create with this kit. Slide that down in there. And I like the bow. It just kind of, you can see, it just kind of adds something here because the bow hangs down over. So I liked that. And then on this page, of course, I did my glitter and stuff. I also put some glossy accents on the Christmas bulb lights that are hanging there. It's glossy accents, and you can see all the sparkle. Santa Claus is coming to town. And then here's one of the gifts that I said you could use as page tabs. That is double-sided. Save Santa a trip. Be naughty. I love it. Then I just put a little dangle here. It says blessed with some jingle bells. And our tag here, making spirits bright. Okay, then let's go to this page. He knows if you've been bad or good. Got her face. She's like, oh no. And let's take the tag out, put jingle bells. So that's this page. Oh, and my dolls I put on with the foam tape, so they've got that three-dimensional look to them. And then the next page is my Christmas tree page. So here I've got my snowman, and this one is the one that I put the frosted crystal on, so it's got that texture. Okay, so now the lights, they come, there's two in a pack, so this is one strand. It's wire. So this makes it really nice to work with because you can bend it to go into, you know, different shapes that you want. And I didn't know that. And there's, you know, the batteries that are in there, battery operated. These are also from YANETTE. So I thought this was super cute. And how am I going to, where am I going to put the battery pack? So I'll show you here. I just put it in an envelope. So if you can see here, the switch is right here on the top, so that's super easy. I thought about making a pocket that it could slide into, but I thought that might be a pain trying to pull this out and put it back in, and this way the switch is right there, so I like that. Okay, so here our tag, let it snow. And then we've got this page. I believe in Santa and peace on earth. I really like this page with all the glitter and snow. This tag, I have ho 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 with some presents. And the presents have the same tattered rose on them. And then over here, this little girl is saying, "Dear Santa, I've done my best." I just made a little page tab here, and this charm says, "Believe." So last page here, and I have this propped up on an ink pad so that it's easier to see in the camera. So this page says, "I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus." Look at her face. Ooh. And then our tag, "Season of Good Cheer." This is one of the elves from the kit. And then we turn over, and this is our last page. I put a tag in here too. "The happiest season of all." Let me put my little name thing. Don't forget to sign your work, guys. So that is my book. I absolutely, positively love the way that it came out. So all these digitals are in my shop. I've got all the links. I have the links to my shop. I've got the links and information for YANETTE. So I hope I inspired you guys to have fun with some Christmas creations. And stay tuned for some more crafty adventures.